As ISIS is being routed, I have one question. Are you surprised? We knew when we eased the rules of engagement and let our men fight, the war would be swift and brutal. We knew once the decision was made to win, we would. It's an obvious truth ignored by the smarter, more enlightened class. Yet amidst this good news that we have beaten ISIS, a man sets off a bomb in the name of ISIS. Was he working with others? Who knows? Aren't we lucky it went the way it did? Hell yes. This is a lucky reminder that winning the war on ISIS isn't enough, because the war is bigger than that. As long as there is an ideology, a technology, and a loser seeking infamy that combines both, life itself is a target. It's a mistake to see the death of ISIS as the period at the end of a very ugly sentence, because once we kill this zombie, it returns in a different form. Even when we succeed in Iraq and they fail in a subway, ideology, the zombie fuel, persists. To ever ease up even a moment is idiotic. We keep being told, however, not to change our way of life.
Let's go back to work. We're not going to allow them to disrupt us. That's exactly what they want. And that is exactly what they're not going to get.
Okay, don't change your way of life. We get it. But change your way of thinking. Try this mind exercise. Imagine if today's attack were more sophisticated, that it combined something more capable to something more insidious. A drone, a deadly biological substance. Imagine that devastation. We often only imagine things until after they happen, but I don't. I'm hopelessly neurotic. I worry so you don't have to, but you should. So, Dana, Iraq declared victory over ISIS. Is it wise to declare victory? Every time that happens, something always happens. Yes.
Well, I think that they are also trying to show their domestic audience that they were, their population, that it has been worth it, that the new leadership there is saying, working with the United States, we were able to beat back ISIS. But, of course, the dangers lurk, and part of that also deals with Iran. So this is the generational war that started way back when. It's not even off before, it was way before 9/11.
Yeah.
And excuses for some jihadists today that are saying, oh, it's because President Trump acknowledged Israel as, Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. That's just the latest in their long line of excuses. I would hope that the president does a couple of things when he releases his national security strategy in the next couple of weeks. I believe it's the next couple of weeks. I understand that it's finished. I think we have to talk about resources for state and local governments because of how much it takes in order to protect a city, especially like this one. This idea of see something, say something. I think that people in America need more information about this, like something specific, because today, when you're going through the underground passageway, and there's a guy in a coat, and everybody's in a coat.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to see, and who are you supposed to tell? The police officers at the Port Authority are obviously extremely good, but if I don't understand what seeing something and saying something means. I actually think that's about who his family might have known he was socializing with prior to this. And the last thing I would say is that I do think the administration is lacking at this point a counter ideology strategy. So the new national security strategy, when it comes out, I think it should include that.
Jesse, I report you whenever I can. When I see you, I say something.
For what?
Oh, anything I can think of.
A lot of options.
There's so many options.
We might find out tomorrow.
You know what's interesting about this war? Is that we didn't see much of it. And I have a theory that it's a new kind of war. It's autonomous, and we were so highly proficient in killing. Do you notice that we never saw anything? Isn't that weird? I think it's weird.
I think usually militaristic or expansionist ideologies are always wedded to a nation state. They have a conventional military. They have a large economy to go along with it. But now, and we would defeat them militarily, Germany and Nazism, the totalitarian state in Japan, and then communism in Soviet Russia. Those were all defeated on conventional battlefields, and then their ideology was extinguished alongside of it. But radical Islamic ideology is completely different because there is no nation state, and when they tried to create the caliphate, they got decimated. There's really no economic engine behind it. It's all driven by religion. And so because the religion emphasizes martyrdom, you're going to have people go out willing to kill themselves and willing to kill innocent people, not just in the battlefield, but all over the world, in malls, in Times Square. So there's only a few ways to defeat it. Yeah, you have to defeat them with law enforcement or with the military. But you also have to say, listen, we need your help, whether it's see something, say something, and then use tools that were always considered a little edgy. Enhanced interrogation, enhanced surveillance, the travel ban, ending chain migration. Those are the types of tools that we need to use, I think, more aggressively, because we can't tolerate one innocent death. And that's what makes us different.
Well, Anna, you must be brokenhearted that ISIS has lost.
Why?
I don't know. I just thought I just thought I was
No,
trying to get you angry.
No, you don't. Hey, I enjoy time with you.
That sounded really convincing.
I'll tell you
believe him.
what struck me in this is, so you see that not only does the Iraqi prime minister declare victory, but Vladimir Putin has declared victory over ISIS and says that he's withdrawing his forces. And when you ask the question, why don't we see more of this? I think that in part because, one, the Russians were in there, and they weren't always acting in our interest. They were sometimes killing off people who were opposition to Assad, which the United States was supporting. I mean, Assad is still there. And the second thing to say about this is, you know, for all the upset to date, and, you know, we see this terrible thing happen that could have been far more dangerous, as you pointed out wisely. I think to myself, well, gosh, in the last few months, we've seen 58 people killed in Vegas. We've seen people killed at a Walmart in Denver. We've seen people at that Texas Baptist Church, 26 just raked down. And yet somehow we don't say, hey, there's something going on in this country. We got to immediately get tougher. No, Donald Trump says nothing.
Well, it's because
NRA says just keep going.
I think there's a difference because that guy should have been flagged on numerous occasions.
Which guy?
Well, think about the guy in Texas. They should have reported him for the domestic abuse. He should never have had a weapon.
Correct.
Those things fell through the cracks.
I want to get KG on this. I think there's a difference between one is propelled by ideology, an ideology that wants to snuff out the earth. The other, like absolute nutbags who got through the system. Kimberly, feel free to comment. The floor is yours.
Let me fix all this for you.
Thank you.
It's clear you need me again.
I know.
Yes.
So when you look at this and you're examining the ideology, and you really have to understand and go deep into jihad and Islamic terrorism and what they stand for versus an isolated incident from an individual. This is it's a movement. So whether you talk about the caliphate or whether you defeat ISIS, you still have all of those tentacles there and that ideology, and it will take a new shape or form and a new name. That's what it does. So when you look at a situation like this, yeah, there's a lot that we can do, and you have to be tough on it. And what we saw was President Trump in terms of restoring back the original rules of engagement and getting them away from what President Obama had in place. And there's many articles that were written about it this weekend about the big impact that had. That's one step. Then there is fighting this ideology online so people don't become radicalized. Then there is see something, say something, getting people involved, in communities. Then there's the immigration piece and making sure that people don't get in here that want to do us harm.
There you go. We've solved everything. I think we're just going to call it a day.